Welcome back to Asean Newsroom, and here are the economic news.
CAT Telecom will soft launch its commercial 3G service to date and use the My brand. Now CAT has 1,000 subscribers to its third-generation wireless broadband service. It will migrate the 400,000 subscribers of its existing cellular service to 3G over 2 years. The move follows its deal signed with True Corp subsidiaries Real Move and Real Future in January to develop the 3G service nationwide. CAT will wholesale and resell the 3G service. Real Move has released 3G capacity from CAT to resell the service. Real Move yesterday formally kicked off its 3G service under the True Move brand with 3 service packages. Real Move has gradually switched about 800,000 subscribers of the Hutchison CAT Wireless Multimedia CDMA or Core Division Multiple Access Cellular Service to its 3G service, starting with heavy data users. Under CAT's 3G network plan, 671 base stations were to be set up by last month with the capacity to serve 700,000 customers and cover 13% of the population. Next month, it plans to increase the base stations to 2,763 to serve up to 2.5 million customers and 29% of the population. By December, it will have 5,326 stations capable of serving 5 million customers and reaching 70% of the population. Apple Inc. is set to post a 69% jump in the quarterly profit when it reports results yesterday after record buying of the iPad and Mac computer made up for weaker demand for its aging iPhone 4. Profit rose to $5.5 billion in the fiscal third quarter, which ended June 25th, according to the average prediction of analysts in a Bloomberg survey. Sales gained an estimated 59% to $25 billion. While Apple won't release a new iPhone, its best-selling product, until September, the company benefited from the March debut of the iPad 2. According to analysts surveyed by Bloomberg, Apple sold 7.7 million units of the tablet last quarter, topping the previous 3-month sales record of 7.3 million set during the holiday shopping season. Charlie Wolf, an analyst at Needham & Co., said, "All I had to do is walk past the Apple store on my way to work each morning, and there were lines down the street for at least a month after the iPad 2 launched." This quarter may end up being fairly mild for the iPhone. As customers await the next iPhone, sales of the handsets may drop 8.3% to 17.1 million from the prior quarter, according to the average estimate of 16 analysts compiled by Bloomberg.
For China, tax revenue rose 29.6% to 5 trillion yuan, or about $773 billion in the first half of the year, giving officials more room to maneuver as they grapple with swelling local government debts. The gain reported by the Ministry of Finance on its website today compared with a 32.4% increase in the first quarter from a year earlier. The ministry said stable economic growth and rising company profits helped to bolster revenue, with inflation also playing a role. The fiscal strength that encourages Standard & Poor's to raise China's debt rating in December may help the nation to absorb any fallout from banks' loans going bad after stimulus spending that began in 2008. Chang Jian, an economist at Barclays Capital in Hong Kong who formerly worked for the Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the World Bank, said strong tax revenue should strengthen the fiscal position. There should be little worry about tax and fiscal revenue growth as the economy keeps growing at 8 to 9%. The Shanghai Composite Index fell 0.9% as of 1:45 p.m. local time on concern banks' fundraising will drain capital from existing shares and policy tightening measures may slow the economy. China Merchants Bank Co. earlier announced a plan for a rights offer.
Google's Southeast Asia's headquarters has appointed Ariya Panomyong as a Thailand-based manager after spending quite some time to select the most appropriate candidate. Thailand has been a strong leader for Google for quite some time. Google was originated from the idea that most works come with a great deal of challenge and fun simultaneously. Hence, when Google searches for its new leader to run business in Thailand, the suitable candidate must have a unique professional qualification. Most importantly, this candidate must reflect the true identity of Google, or known as Googly, within the organization. With more than 14 years in telecommunication, software management and consultant, and 2 master's degrees in math and IT from Marc-Laval University in France and management from London School Economics, fluent in 4 languages, Ariya's qualifications are the reflection of Google's culture in valuing devotees who would solve any problem in a creative manner. Google Southeast Asia Managing Director Julian Purcell explains that Google has been waiting to appoint the new candidate for this position. He added that he is thrilled to welcome such a potential member as Ariya to the team. Ariya was previously a chief commercial officer at the Convergence and True Corporation. He is now responsible for sales and business development of Google Thailand.
The Pheu Thai's policy salary of 15,000 baht a month starts to take its toll, as it is an appealing prospect for a young university graduate. However, most entry-level jobs now pay far less on the average. One policy that was promised by the Pheu Thai party during its election campaign to pay a minimum salary of 15,000 baht to university graduates has sparked broad criticism. Although the Pheu Thai party has recently planned to adjust minimum salary to government officials at entry level, as well as adjusting cost of living, from a standpoint of President at Society Human Resources Management, Chatpong Wongsuk, raising salary is the nature of any workplace, but it must be collaborated between the government and the private sector for a better outcome. Since the law did not require private sector to raise salary like the government officials. Besides, some professionals have already been given starting salary to employees with bachelor's degree more than 15,000 baht, especially scientists and engineers. As for professionals that start their minimum salary less than 15,000 baht are those in management and social work, they would consider working for the government instead. As a result, the private sector would have to raise minimum salary in order to not lose such potential employees to the government. However, as for the consideration of private sector to hire graduates with high vocational certificate instead, Chatpong sees that it will not completely solve the issue. It might work in some professionals such as vocational technicians, but what concerns him most is that the minimum salary hike must be done gradually because there are some employees that may have more experiences and have a master's degree but currently paid less than 15,000 baht. However, Pheu Thai economic strategists insist the impact of higher staffing costs would be offset by a promised reduction in corporate income tax from 30% to 23% by next year and 20% by 2013. However, most executive surveys by the Post say that such reductions would benefit big companies but not small ones. A human resources specialist said offering a flat rate to all graduates regardless of position or job description may create unfairness, as some positions require candidates with more complex skills. For example, an engineer or a medical advisor would certainly require a different skill set from candidates filling a general administration job. Performance-based pay, so a position demanding complex skills should offer a premium rate, is more appropriate because students are motivated to choose fields of study that match the country's strategic development plan.
Thailand's central bank governor said the new government should gradually implement policies, including the planned increase in minimum wages to minimize the effect on inflation. Bank of Thailand Governor Prasan Trairatwarakul has suggested the incoming government that it should gradually implement policies to allow time for business and people to adjust themselves. He also called for the government to prioritize projects and maintain fiscal discipline. Incoming Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra plans to raise the minimum wage to 300 baht per day next year. The increase, which will be as much as 99% in some parts of the country, threatens to fuel inflation that is holding close to a 32-month high. The central bank also said government revenue and spending are imbalanced, so the new government should reduce spending and increase revenue by cutting tax deductions and broadening the tax base. Any borrowing should be for investment, not consumption. Government spending grew 8.8% between 2007 and 2011, while revenue expanded by 4.2%, according to the central bank. Between 1997 and 2006, spending grew 4.9% compared with 4.7% revenue growth. Prasan said the Bank of Thailand, which raised its benchmark interest rate for the 6th straight meeting last week to 3.25%, still needs to continue its rate normalization process as the real interest rate remains negative and inflation is still a key risk factor in the second half.
As the South China Sea dispute continues, the ASEAN countries' members urged to tackle the issue. For more information after the break.